Let's be honest. The moment a woman truly loves you, something unsettling happens. She stops performing. The smiles become quieter. The pauses get longer. And if you don't understand what you're seeing, you'll misread devotion as distance and lose something real without even realizing it. You think love looks loud. You think it's constant attention, constant reassurance, constant warmth. But when a woman loves you madly, she doesn't chase your attention. She studies your presence. She listens between your words. She notices the micro shifts in your tone. And the dangerous part is, she never announces that she's doing it. When her feelings are shallow, she reacts. When her feelings are deep, she observes. And most men don't know the difference. You'll notice she becomes strangely calm around you. Not bored, not detached. Calm. Her energy settles. Her voice lowers. Her reactions slow down. That calmness is not comfort alone. It's investment. A woman who loves you deeply stops trying to impress you because she has already placed you inside her emotional world. She's not asking, "Do you like me?" She's asking, "Are you safe for me to feel this much?" And here's the truth men rarely hear. When she loves you madly, she begins protecting the relationship from you, not just from the world. She watches how you handle frustration. She watches how you speak about your past. She watches how you respond when things don't go your way. She isn't judging you the way strangers judge. She's measuring emotional safety because love for her is risk, not excitement. Risk. You may think she's becoming more sensitive. She's not. She's becoming more honest internally. She stops laughing at things that quietly hurt her. She notices inconsistencies. She feels your effort or your absence of effort more intensely than before, and she rarely announces this shift. She absorbs it, processes it, stores it. That's why men often say, "She changed." No, she revealed what she stopped hiding. When a woman loves you madly, she also stops competing with other women for your attention. That energy disappears. She doesn't need to win you anymore. She needs to trust you. And if that trust is threatened, she doesn't argue louder. She withdraws emotionally first. The silence isn't punishment, it's protection of her own heart. Watch closely and you'll see another shift. Her care becomes practical. Less performance, more presence. She remembers details you forgot mentioning. She adjusts small things in her life without telling you. She thinks ahead for both of you, not dramatically, quietly. Love for her becomes maintenance rather than display. And here is where most men fail the test they never knew they were taking. They mistake emotional depth for fading attraction. They chase excitement instead of recognizing devotion. They try to fix a calm love that was never broken. A woman who loves you madly doesn't need constant sparks. She needs consistency she can breathe inside. So if you've ever felt that subtle shift, that quieter energy, that deeper attention, don't rush to interpret it as loss. Sometimes the loudest feelings become silent because they've stopped trying to be seen. And if you're brave enough to notice, you'll realize something unsettling but powerful. She isn't loving you for who you pretend to be. She's loving you while watching who you truly are becoming. There is something a woman does when she loves you madly that most men completely misunderstand. She stops asking for things she once asked for, not because she doesn't need them anymore, because she is watching whether you give them without being asked. Attraction asks. Love observes. When her feelings are casual, she tells you what she wants directly. Attention, time, reassurance. But when she is deeply attached, she begins measuring something. More important than your words, your awareness. She wants to know if you feel her without instruction. And if you don't, she doesn't always protest. She records the silence. This is not manipulation. This is vulnerability without armor. You might notice she gives more than she announces. She supports your goals quietly. She celebrates your wins without competing. She absorbs stress so you don't feel pressure. She becomes softer in places where she once defended herself. And the dangerous truth is, she does this without keeping score out loud. But she feels everything internally. A woman who loves you madly starts investing emotionally in your future self, not just your present behavior. She sees potential and chooses to believe in it. That belief makes her patient. but it also makes her fragile because the more she believes, the more deeply disappointment cuts when effort isn't returned. You will also see her boundaries change in a very specific way. She doesn't remove them, she refines them. She stops reacting to small issues and begins paying attention to patterns. She is no longer asking, "Did he make a mistake?" She is asking, "Is this who he is choosing to be?" And when she senses emotional inconsistency, she doesn't explode immediately. She grows quieter first. Her questions become fewer. Her emotional exposure becomes selective. She is not playing games. She is protecting what she feels before it becomes irreversible. Another sign appears in how she looks at you during ordinary moments, not during excitement, not during romance, during silence, when nothing is happening. That gaze carries evaluation and affection at the same time. She is present, but she is also searching not for flaws, for alignment. She is asking herself whether her heart is safe where it is settled. When a woman loves you madly, she also begins including you in her internal decision-making process without announcing it. She considers your perspective even when you are not present. She adjusts choices based on how they affect you. She is not losing herself. She is integrating you into her emotional structure. And here is the part that unsettles most men. She becomes less impressed by charm and more moved by consistency. Grand gestures mean less than reliability. Words mean less than patterns. Excitement means less than emotional steadiness. She no longer wants to feel high. She wants to feel secure. If you sense her becoming calmer yet deeper, quieter yet more present, understand what you are witnessing. She is not fading. She is attaching. And attachment, when real, is not loud. It is intentional. It is watchful. It is patient until it is no longer safe to remain patient. Most men don't lose women because love disappeared. They lose them because they never recognized how love actually behaves when it becomes real. There is a moment that reveals everything, and most men miss it completely. When a woman loves you madly, she begins showing you her unfiltered emotions without decoration. Not the attractive version, not the composed version, the real version. And that is not comfort. That is trust at its most exposed level. She stops managing your perception of her. You will see her tiredness without apology. You will see her frustration without performance. She no longer edits herself to remain desirable every second, because deep love is the only place where she feels safe enough to be imperfect in front of you. And here is the truth that unsettles many men. If she still fears losing you, she still performs for you. When she trusts you, she reveals herself. But this revelation is a test of a different kind, not a game, a risk. She is watching how you respond when she is not easy, not cheerful, not polished. She is measuring whether your presence is conditional on her comfort or committed to her reality. When a woman loves you madly, she also becomes emotionally transparent in subtle ways. Her reactions become quicker because she's no longer filtering everything through caution. She shares concerns sooner. She reveals insecurities she once hid. She lets you see what affects her deeply, not because she is weak, but because she believes you will not weaponize her vulnerability. And that belief is fragile. Another shift appears in how she handles conflict. She stops arguing to win. She argues to repair. When feelings are shallow, disagreements are about ego. When feelings are deep, disagreements are about preservation. She is no longer protecting pride. She is protecting connection. Listen carefully, and you will notice her language changes. She begins using words that include you in her emotional framework, not possession. Inclusion. Her perspective becomes shared, not because she lost independence, because she allowed interdependence. And here is something rarely explained. A woman who loves you madly pays attention to your pain even when you hide it. She senses tension behind your silence. She notices when your confidence drops. She observes your stress patterns. She may not always confront you directly, but she adjusts her energy around your emotional state. This is not mind reading. This is emotional attunement born from attachment. You might also notice she becomes more patient with your growth, but less tolerant of stagnation. She supports effort. She cannot sustain indifference because love amplifies her investment in who you are becoming. She does not need perfection. She needs movement. And perhaps the most revealing sign, she allows you to see her disappointment when you hurt her, not dramatic anger, honest sadness. She does not hide the impact because hiding it would mean distancing herself emotionally. Showing hurt is her way of keeping the connection real. Most men misunderstand this moment. They see vulnerability and assume weakness. They see emotional openness and assume dependency. But the truth is far more powerful. She is giving you access to her inner world without guarantees. That is what mad love looks like. Not possession, not obsession, exposure. And if you cannot hold that exposure with steadiness, she will slowly begin protecting herself from the very depth she once offered freely. There is a shift that feels almost invisible, yet it changes everything. When a woman loves you madly, she begins aligning her life rhythm with yours, not in a loud, dramatic way, in small, consistent adjustments that most men never notice until they disappear. She starts thinking in we without announcing it. Her time reorganizes around shared moments. Her priorities subtly rearrange. She anticipates your needs before you express them. She remembers your preferences without effort. She chooses peace over pride more often than before. And the unsettling truth is she rarely asks for recognition for any of it. This is not sacrifice driven by pressure. This is emotional investment expressed through presence. You will see it in ordinary details. The way she prepares for conversations with you, the way she pays attention when you speak about your goals, the way she defends your absence when others misunderstand you, the way she protects your dignity even when you are not there to witness it. When a woman loves you madly, loyalty becomes internal before it becomes visible. She does not remain because she must. She remains because her heart has attached meaning to your existence in her life, and meaning changes behavior more than emotion ever could. Another sign appears in how she handles distance, not physical distance, emotional distance. When she senses disconnection, she does not always confront it directly. She attempts reconnection through subtle gestures first, soft questions, gentle presence, small bridges. She is not trying to control you. She is trying to restore emotional harmony. If those attempts are ignored repeatedly, something quiet but serious happens. She stops reaching emotionally before she stops caring. And that silence is not indifference. It is self-preservation beginning. You will also notice she becomes protective of the bond itself. She avoids actions that could damage trust. She considers long-term impact more than immediate emotion. She does not treat the relationship as temporary. She treats it as something living that must be maintained carefully. And here is a truth many men never realize until it is too late. A woman deeply in love does not measure your value by perfection. She measures your value by consistency under pressure. Anyone can be loving when things are easy. She watches who you are when you are tired, frustrated, uncertain, or challenged, because love to her is not proven in comfort. It is proven in steadiness. Another quiet transformation happens inside her expectations. She stops hoping you will become someone else and begins hoping you will fully become who you claim to be. She listens for alignment between your words and your behavior. She is no longer attracted only to potential. She is attached to truth, and perhaps the most powerful sign. She begins trusting you with her peace. She relaxes in your presence. Her guard lowers naturally. She does not feel the need to control outcomes or protect herself constantly. Emotional safety becomes visible through her calmness. But calmness is not permanence. It survives only where respect continues. When a woman loves you madly, she does not hold on tightly. She opens herself completely, and that openness is both her greatest offering and her greatest risk. There is something profound that happens when a woman loves you madly. She begins revealing her fears without disguising them as complaints, not because she wants reassurance every moment, but because she trusts you enough to show where she is most unguarded. Fear is the language of deep attachment. She may not say, "I'm afraid to lose you." Instead, you will hear it in quieter forms in the way she seeks clarity instead of assumptions. in the way she asks deeper questions about your intentions, in the way she becomes attentive when uncertainty appears. These are not signs of insecurity. They are signs of emotional investment, reaching a depth where loss would truly matter. And here is the part most men never understand. When a woman loves you madly, she does not fear other women as much as she fears emotional distance from you. Her concern is not competition. Her concern is disconnection, because what she has built internally is not based on attraction alone. It is based on meaning. You may notice she becomes more honest about what hurts her. She no longer minimizes discomfort to keep peace artificially. She communicates impact because silence would create distance. And when she speaks from that place, she is not attacking you. She is inviting you into awareness. Another shift appears in how she reacts to your growth. She encourages it even when it challenges her comfort. She wants you strong, fulfilled, and evolving. But she also needs to feel included in that evolution, not controlling your path, sharing emotional space within it. When a woman loves you madly, she also becomes deeply affected by your emotional availability, not your achievements, not your status, your presence. If you are physically there but emotionally absent, she feels the absence intensely, because love for her is not proximity. It is connection. And here is something rarely spoken, but deeply true. She begins imagining a future that includes you without forcing that vision into conversation. She considers time differently. Decisions carry relational weight. She is not rushing. She is integrating. You will see another sign in her forgiveness, not unlimited tolerance, intentional forgiveness. She allows room for mistakes when effort is visible. She recognizes humanity when accountability exists, but repeated disregard changes something inside her. Love does not disappear instantly. Trust does. And once trust fractures deeply, her love becomes quieter, more contained, more protective of itself. Perhaps the most revealing change of all is this. She starts choosing emotional truth over emotional comfort. She would rather address tension than pretend harmony. She would rather risk vulnerability than live in uncertainty, because mad love seeks reality, not illusion. When she loves you this deeply, she is not asking for perfection. She is asking for presence, honesty, and consistency that she can rely on when emotions fluctuate. And if you ever notice her growing quieter after repeated effort, understand what you are witnessing. Not the end of love, but love learning to survive without hurting itself. Mad love does not disappear loudly. It withdraws carefully when it is no longer safe to remain open. There is one final truth about a woman who loves you madly. She chooses you when choosing you is not effortless. Not when emotions are high, not when moments are perfect, when reality is ordinary, imperfect, and demanding. That choice, repeated quietly, is the deepest form of love she offers, because real attachment is not a feeling she visits, it is a commitment she lives inside. You will see it in her persistence. She does not give up easily when misunderstandings arise. She seeks clarity before conclusions. She listens even when emotions are intense. She tries to repair rather than escape. And this effort is not weakness. It is value expressed through action. When a woman loves you madly, she allows herself to be influenced by you emotionally. Your joy affects her mood. Your pain affects her energy. Your stability affects her peace. She is not losing control. She is allowing connection to matter. That openness is powerful, but it also requires trust that her heart is safe where it rests. Another sign appears in her honesty when something feels wrong. She does not hide truth to maintain temporary comfort. She addresses tension because silence would damage something she considers meaningful. She is not trying to create conflict. She is protecting authenticity. And here is the part many men never realize until it is too late. When she truly loves you, she does not leave at the clear's throat first sign of difficulty. She stays, she communicates, she adjusts, she hopes. But if respect, effort, and emotional presence are consistently missing, something irreversible begins. Her love does not turn into anger first. It turns into acceptance. Acceptance that she cannot love alone. When that acceptance arrives, she releases quietly, not because she stopped loving, because she learned she must protect herself. But if you recognize her depth while it still surrounds you, something rare becomes possible. You can meet her love with awareness. You can respond with steadiness. You can build something rooted not in excitement alone, but in emotional security that grows stronger over time. A woman who loves you madly is not asking you to be perfect. She's asking you to be real, consistent, and present in a way that makes her emotional risk meaningful. She does not need grand promises. She needs patterns she can trust. So here is the question that matters more than anything you have heard. When she offers quiet devotion instead of loud passion, do you recognize it or do you overlook it? Because it does not demand attention. If you have ever experienced a love that was calm, steady, and deeply attentive, ask yourself honestly, were you responding to her presence or reacting only when she began to withdraw? Tell me in the comments, what is one small action someone did that made you feel truly chosen? If this message spoke to you like the video, subscribe for more truth most people never explain, and share this with someone who needs to see what real love actually looks.